All right, No Spot Motivation, episode 22. Did you miss me? Did all 46 of you subscribers miss me? Uh, Been a while, but we're coming back. We're inspired. The theme of today's episode: Borrowed Sparks, How Inspiration Lights Your Path. It's the title of this video. So I've noticed for myself I think it's been like 3 months since I posted a video, that there's inconsistency in my inspiration. Maybe anybody's. Creativity, these types of things that we want to be ingrained in our existence, but sometimes that's innate and sometimes that's forced. And if it's forced, well, it's not going to be pure inspiration or genuine creativity. So I realized, in taking accountability for my own misgivings and falsities in trying to have a motivational, within itself inspirational channel, primarily in relatability, that I've made false promises along the way. Initially, I started saying I'm going to post every Tuesday and Friday. I don't know, to get to the algorithm, I guess. Okay. At the time, I had a whole bunch of ideas flowing. Or I'm going to start a media LLC and go through the steps and teach everyone who is interested how that process unfolds, and things I did know work that way that I expected, or the unexpected that came along within that. I was going to end every episode with a poem, which I did for a little while. And then the most recent episodes, I didn't. This is manifested by me. I get inspired and then I stop. I overwhelm myself with the goals I create and then get frustrated with the undue pressure that I have placed on myself. At the same time, integrity along with inspiration, very important. Be a man of your word. Be a woman of your word. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. And that is what I do subscribe to in my life. I do abide by this. So then I come down on myself. I feel uninspired when I'm the one letting myself down. If I can't trust my own no, how can I trust my own yes? If I'm lying to myself, how can I be presenting myself with conviction to the world? I had a buddy tell me, people only take you as seriously as you take yourself. Whew. Yeah, yeah, that's true. And I do take myself very seriously. I take myself seriously consistently. I'm inspired within creativity periodically. This channel being that. I want some relatability. This idea with this Tuesday, Friday, I guess, I can crack the algorithm. And then, I can be more ingrained in the popularity of YouTube or something. I don't know. Whoever's going to find it's going to find it. Whoever enjoys it, enjoys it. You can take it or leave it. If you'd like to share these things, if they resonate with you, please share them. That's cool. That's great. But for inspiration, there was a Modern Wisdom episode. Modern Wisdom is the best. It's one of the best podcasts on YouTube, period, no question. And they had an episode with Naval Ravikant, who is a very, very hard get. And if you want your life to change, give that one a go. It's long. It's like 3 hours, maybe a little over 3 hours. I'll link that in the description as well. Couldn't be more recommended. Naval Ravikant is a modern day philosopher. It's like watching a philosopher that will be quoted for all time in real time. It's mind blowing. And within that, part of it is his primary contention is when you're inspired, you do it. You feel like reading, you read. You feel like writing, you write. You're tired, you sleep. You're done tired, you're done sleeping, you wake up. You're hungry, you eat. It's not really rocket science, but these are the things that we constrain ourselves to, sometimes within routine, sometimes there's just not time. But there's truth to that, especially when it comes to creativity. You need a creative outlet. You need something to break the monotony of life that isn't really monotony. This is what people do. 0.000000001% of people genuinely wake up ready to take on life and love what they do, and everything's fulfilling. Most people do what they have to do. And hopefully you don't just completely hate your job. I'm a bus driver. I come across a whole bunch of people who I would never, ever come in contact with in my own life, and I have to deal with them. But I love driving. I've always loved driving. I couldn't wait to drive when I got my license. My dad used to let me drive around the Sunday school parking lot before I was 16. I couldn't wait. That was the only reason I was like, yeah, let's go to Sunday school. Cool. Sunday school sounds good. Because then I get to drive in a circle around a parking lot while he talked to my grandpa. So that's mine. Different things. There's something, your mind frame, your framework for what is engaging if you're in your day in regards to your occupation. There can be a negative idea, or you can be inspired to find the positive in what you're doing. You're able to take care of your family. You're keeping a roof over your head. You made someone smile. Maybe just one person through the whole day. You might have been scowling the rest, but one person smiled. Those things are inspiring. You inspire without even knowing. You know, William James has a great quote. Act as if you do make a difference. It does. That's inspiring. And we find inspiration in other arenas that don't necessarily aren't the most common or familiar ideas with what inspiration is in the struggles of your own life. For more quotes, Rumi has a quote that is, don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will be your cure. Rumi's good stuff, by the way. It's like ancient wisdom, philosophy stuff. It's a poet primarily. Anyway, it's in that pain. It's in that pain. There's a bunch of episodes about this, that those lessons are delayed and not prominent. They do not present themselves as like, oh, that's why I had to go through this. No, just one day you're like, oh, I'm resilient. That would have normally affected me for a week, and that affected me for 15 seconds. That's good. Because the world doesn't change because of the uncomfortable. It changes because someone was crazy enough to believe they could. So with that, more importantly, when it's about inspiration, it is don't procrastinate. That's the Naval Ravikant thing I was mentioning just a moment ago. And something I've discussed in a previous episode, episode 14, Finding a Foothold, the aftermath of uneven paths. I will include that in the description as well. Where I have an analogy. I went cliff jumping with some friends in Colorado when I was a freshman in college. But I analogized the similarity of jumping off a cliff with what life's daily choices are. You look over, then you go. You got to go. You have to do something. You do nothing, that's no thing. So, where these borrowed sparks come from? Do they come from other people? Sure. Do they come from a frustration a stagnation within your own life that you're fed up with, sure. We can light all our matches alone. Sometimes we're meant to borrow a flame from someone else, or find the striker on our leg, or do the Black Angus guy and strike a match on your scruff. That's not a real thing. That was so ridiculous. Good commercials, though. They went out of business. Maybe not good enough. So, within this, I wanted some clarification that I've been doing these episodes in this same philosophy of which I'm illustrating here. That I'm inspired at the time. I don't want to force inspiration. I want to force an expectation of inspiration. Because from myself, I get these very large bursts of inspiration. And then my body's like, okay, let's rebuild. But that's the great thing about creativity. You don't lose it. You only get more. You only find more. You only stretch out the bladder of creativity that you have. And that's how I've always written poetry. That's how I wrote my book. That just one night, like, oh, we're doing this. And for 2-3 weeks, for hours, I had a focus timer. And it just poured out of me, as do most of the poems I write when a poem pops in my head. So I don't want to get attached and constrained by grandiose thinking. Very on brand for me. So hopefully I can be a little more consistent. Hopefully I get some more inspiration and more consistent bursts. But it comes in bursts. It comes in spurts for me, where there's a little more regularity amongst uploads. But if there's not, well, I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to put an episode out that doesn't resonate with my intention in generating that relatability. Because if I can't present something authentically that is going to be relatable, if I'm force feeding myself like I'm making foie gras out of myself. That's when you force feed a goose and then you eat the liver. It's not good, but that's what they do. So I did, though, the other day, I had a poem pop in my head. As I mentioned, this is how I write them. And it popped out. Oh my God, I was on a walk and it just ran and ran and ran. And I'm going to read that because I did say I'm going to do the poem. That part, back on track. There will be a poem ending each episode. Now, the Tuesday and Friday? No, probably not. Maybe even more. I don't know. We'll see. No expectation within that, though. Please remove the expectation, and I apologize for presenting one and creating a false sense of conviction about my intention. So, and with that, but also, at the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. That's Plato. That's old. That's ancient Greek. So you can do it too. Try it out. It's kind of like journaling. It's always been very cathartic for me. I've been doing it since I was 18. So here you go. This is called The Day. Wrote this on August 1st. It appears to be dependent on the day that each step we take is what makes a heart break or puts it back into place. Tears serving as mortar to wash away the disorder. An oasis of a clear mind that hardly seems to get closer. But the cure is in keeping your composure, wobbly chess pieces on an uneven board, leaning as if they just might fall over. Even if it's not your fault, the cleanup becomes your chore. It's your choice to live life as if it's a spectator sport. You can reach for the stars, but there's still so much more. Life can be at a snail's pace or the fast lane. Put your foot to the floor. A forfeit isn't abhorrent or a battle lost when no damage is suffered. No one has to pay the cost. Not all who wander are lost. Life isn't always an obstacle. imposters with imposter syndrome, as if someone's watching you. When you separate impossible, well, it then says, I'm possible. When you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, there that can become now here. Now hear this. Hollow hallways, deaf ears, iron fists, the skin of a snare drum, corners ripped. It's the abyss we rise out of, where we burn like a phoenix, dancing too close to the sun. How else can my cigarette get lit? Not every repair needs a fix, so just give it a twist and see if the leak from the spigot turns into a drip. Procrastination and moderation. A think tank full of deep thoughts. If you're lost out at sea, keep your paddle, and you won't drop what you got. When you go with the flow is when you win the fight, when the shadows that follow get blinded by light. There's not always tomorrow, but we've got tonight. Hearts break and hearts heal, also known as living a life. If there's something that inspires you, leave it in the comments. Let's discuss it. Who inspires you? What inspires you? Like I was inspired with the book. I'd like to know these things. It comes from the least expected places quite often. Nowhere sometimes. So check the links in the description. Gonna have the book. Appreciate the book. It's an audiobook. Read by me. Check it out. There's a book. Gonna have the Naval Ravikant Modern Wisdom episode, and I'll link back to episode 14 where I touch on some of this in another capacity. Have a good night.